Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Eleni Sommerschield. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Wise Agent, and today I am joined by the fabulous Kendyl Young, who is a friend of mine and of Brandon's and of Wise Agent all together. So welcome, Kendyl. Thanks so much for being here.
Welcome, Eleni. Nice to be here.
Thank you. And so good morning to everyone here on the West Coast, and then good afternoon, I think it is, to everyone over in the East Coast. If you guys wouldn't mind sharing what city, state, brokerage that you're with in the chat, that's always awesome to see where everyone is coming from. I know in the past we've had people in like the Bahamas, where like if you are in the Bahamas and you want to invite me out for a training, I'll sacrifice and come out to the Bahamas. So
I might have to tag on that one.
Kendyl, you're up for a road trip?
Well, I don't think a road trip would work real well.
Yeah, it would have to be a flight for sure, but I'm up for it. Awesome. So here we've got lots of people from Florida and Vermont. So awesome. Welcome, everyone. A couple of things here before we get started on this awesome conversation that we're going to have today. This webinar is being recorded. You will get a copy of it if you registered for the webinar. You will get a copy of this in your inbox as soon as this webinar has been completed. If you are on Facebook, it will be living on Facebook forever and ever, I presume. And then we'll also post it on our YouTube channel as well. So you can find it from anywhere. And if you still need a copy of it, let our support staff know and we'll get you a copy of it. So that's being recorded. If you have questions, feel free. I see all these people, Boca and San Francisco and Palm Coast, Florida. That's awesome. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. You can also post any questions in the Q&A section. And hey, Jacqueline. And so we will be doing our best to answer any of your questions. We did get a ton of questions from you all before you even join the webinar. So we'll be going through a lot of those, and then whatever we don't answer, we'll reply to you in an email. So all right, today, Kendyl, we are talking about transactions and automating your transaction workflows with your CRM. So this is something that I know you've been working on for like
10 years.
10 years.
Well, in a formal way since like 2014.
Okay.
Is when I finally figured out how to satisfy my slight OCD Virgo problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and being with transactions, you have to be perfect. You have to be on point, and you have to have everything you do have to have things organized.
Well, yeah. And holy tomatoes. I mean, like I was just sharing with you tomorrow, I'm going to be 58 this year, and I still have the finals nightmare. Like, oh my God, I forgot X.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the day of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you've been doing real estate for 35 years.
No. Yeah. See these gray hairs?
35
these gray hairs were earned, honestly, each and every one.
Each one represents one of the 2,000 houses that you've closed on, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, and I've learned a new stupid lesson with, I think, every single house I've ever sold. Every single person has taught me something. So it's kind of like, cool. Let's categorize all the lessons that we've learned so we have bandwidth for more lessons.
Yeah. I mean, but the lessons learned are good lessons, because then you don't make that same mistake. Indeed. Or that same, thing all over again. So, and I know, so transactions can be so complicated. And so why don't you share with us first a little bit about how you started on this journey of getting to the point of automating everything and having this whole workflow.
Okay, so as many of you have heard, if you've ever looked at my videos, I am a Virgo and a middle-aged lady with memory issues. So the only way prior to having a really fleshed out workflow for me to sleep at night, and let's be honest, I didn't really sleep that much at night, is to constantly, I would have this never-ending squirrel brain of, okay, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I handle that? Did I anticipate this, that, and the other thing? And I had lists, I had these paper checklists of things that I needed to do. And I had like pre-written emails that I would write once and it would be awesome. And I would send it like 3 times and then it would get lost in the detritus of my career. Um, and I had been searching for pretty much my whole career of a way to put everything together and capture it so that I could stop squirrel braining for my entire life, right?
Yeah.
So in about 2014, I realized that, well, it started with Basecamp actually. I used Basecamp and went, holy cow, there is a way to put all this stuff in one place. And that's what I did. I had a spreadsheet and then fleshed it out and I started adding like tactical stuff. Like, for example, I'll just give you an example because it's my
Yeah.
favorite one
Okay.
because it's like it's like a spike the ball in the other agent's face nicely, very nicely.
Always.
Okay, spiking the ball moments are good.
Yeah.
I discovered that if I sent an email to the other agent, and it was just like super detailed. Okay, here's who the people are on my side of the transaction. There's their name, their contact information. This is their role. This is what you're going to contact them for. This is what we're going to do for you. And here are all the dates in the transaction. Here's our ratification date, our physical inspection contingency date, our loan contingency date. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Blah, 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 blah. If I did that and I sent it to the other agent, like, I don't know, 20 seconds into the opening of an escrow, it would set the stage of how I'm going to, conduct myself.
Yeah.
And they had one of two choices: lay down and die and just let me control everything, or step to the plate and be just as professional back. Either one works for me. If you're a stupid head agent, get the heck out of my way. I'll just run everything my way and everything's going to be great. If you're not a stupid head agent and you want to participate, you better step to the plate like I do.
Yeah.
Either way, amazing.
Yeah. You set the bar saying, this is how organized I am. This is everything that you're going to need in this transaction. And I'm here to play game with you, like, and get this close for everybody,
Right.
it's not just one-sided. It's for both
Right.
sides.
Or if you want it to be one-sided, then cool beans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either way works for me.
Right.
But I didn't say anything to them. I didn't disrespect them.
Right.
I let them choose. How do they want to show up in this transaction?
Yeah.
But it sets the bar right away. And right away, I can tell which way it's going. No fuss, no muss, no friction. And my life has been amazing with that one templated letter. And it's a template. I wrote it once.
Right.
I
And
never.
that's something that saves so much time and energy on everything about, just getting yourself organized to the point where you have everything, in, already done, already thought through before you're scrambling last minute to get things, and that's a lot of things that, we do here at Wise Agent, is helping everyone get things prepared for that moment.
Right. Now, Frank had asked, he thought this was going to be a class on Wise Agent. And what we're going to be talking about is how to leverage an amazing tool like Wise Agent and my experience to make your business smoother, faster, and give you more bandwidth to sell more houses. So just kind of go with that. So anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, because and this is gonna all come into play, what, that story you just said about, getting this template, because you can store those templates within Wise Agent.
Exactly.
I'm gonna share my screen here in a minute, and where you'll be able to have these templates put in place, and then have it in your checklist saying,
Right.
okay, after this step, right? So you opened escrow, so there's things to do with that, and then there's also, now you've got to reach out to the other
Right.
party.
Let's get serious here, people. Most of you, if you have a CRM like Wise Agent, you're using it like a fancy address book, and you're paying good money for your fancy address book. But Wise Agent can do so much more. And what we're sharing today is how to leverage what's you already have Wise Agent, or if you don't, you should, by the way, you really should. You already have Wise Agent. The information is already in the system. Use it to automate your business, make things stronger, look amazing to your clients, intimidate the frack out of the other guy, and sell more houses.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so I'm going to share my screen because I know the way that we at Wise Agent use our use the checklist. I'm going to see where's my screen. Here we go. Oh wait, let me change it so it's not the Facebook thing. But everything that we do in here is you'll be able to make sure that when you're going through this whole checklist that you can have some of these templates in here, and then it will just kind of notify you and let you know like, hey, this is what you need to do. You kind of have to do this. And so then you don't have that nightmare of like, oh, did I get this done? Did I get that done? Did I get everything that I needed to have done? Right. That's a recurring nightmare for me, for sure. Just in everyday life, right? And so it's nice to not have it in your business life.
Right.
Okay, so this is Wise Agent. If you guys have not seen Wise Agent before, you can go to, we'll talk about where you'll be able to go to get some of these resources, but basically it's just wiseagent.com, and I'm going to show you right now the checklist. So when you come into the checklist, you can see all of the transactions that you're working on. So I'm just gonna pick this one here. And this is our demo account. This isn't Kendyl's account, but so we don't have all of Kendyl's stuff in here, but we're gonna give you that later on too as well. So Kendyl, kind of walk us through this a little bit. Before I have you walk us through it, let me just explain to everyone what they're looking at. So from your checklist, you'll be able to see, you can name your checklist summary. So, this is going to be, maybe their last name and the street address, whatever makes sense for you, you give this transaction a name. It has the contact person, whoever the buyer or seller is, the property address, what agent that you have in here, if you have any linked agents. And then we also have some actionable tabs for you here. So you can send an email. This is going to be really important to have this right here at your fingertips. So we'll go through that. You can add a call, add them on your call list. So you can say, hey, I need to call them and remind them that clean up your house because we got an open house coming up, tomorrow or whatever it is. So you can do all of that or schedule an appointment with them. But then we get to the meat of everything. Of course, your commissions, you want to make sure that you put everything in here. Are they buyer, seller? What's the, if it's a seller, what's the listing price, your percentage of your commission, and then all this stuff kind of goes in here, and you'll see, when it goes from all the status changes that happen here. Okay. So then you get to your tasks, and this is where you kind of come in, Kendyl, going through and saying, okay, you have to have, here's your task, whatever it is. Let's say open up escrow. And then your next task is what? It's send out an email, right?
Yeah. So this is not my workflow.
No, this isn't yours. Yeah.
Right. Which is right. Exactly. You can't fire up mine, can you? You don't have them on that account?
Not in this. No, I'm in a demo account. But
no worries. So basically for my workflows or any of the ones that you can get from Wise Agent, it is going to be a granular do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. So for example, if it's a email, is this what is this is about? Okay, this is launching a listing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So launching a listing, let's say order sign or order sign is your next action.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? You could call up the sign person if that's what you do, but that's going to be a 5-minute conversation. Inevitably, you say, how you doing? How's it going? What have you? What if you had an email or a text message that already had the property address in there? And it was just an email that was already templated, and all you had to do was find the email, which you can do, sending the email, and send it to the sign person, and it's 90% written. Maybe all you have to add in is where you want the sign to be placed. Now, that sounds complicated, but once you do it, just that you look at the action, then you find the letter and hit send, that's going to be a 20-second action. See how Eleni is just doing? It's like
Yeah.
boom, boom, find the letter, send it out. It's already done, whatever it is that you need. Then you hit send now. Yeah, preview it because we're all a little control freaky.
Yeah.
And then you hit send. That whole process took maybe 20 seconds. 20 seconds is always better than 5 minutes.
Right. And then you can edit however
Exactly.
obviously, because this is a template, right? So you would have everything written out, and then you would just go plug in those placeholders. It's really, if you, and so what I showed is just by clicking on, this is for the contact, so this would go to the seller. But what we have in our checklist here is we have all of your important contacts. So if the lender is, you've got your lender here, it's the same thing. It's, the home inspector, whatever it is, the vendors that are going to be important to this transaction are all listed in here. And you can just come in here and just choose the message, choose the content from your templates, and then go ahead and send that out.
Right.
So it's that easy to do.
Our days are lost in 2 to 5 minute increments. I mean, have you ever woken up, hit the office or your desk or what have you, and then when you next look up, it's 5, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night? You've just lost an entire day and you're not even sure what happened. You don't even know what you accomplished. It's because your day got eaten up in 5-minute chunks. So this is a way to control your day, save a lot of time, feel some peace of mind. My workflows, which are purchasable, but you can also create your own workflows. But my workflows are so complete and they're so granular that I don't lose sleep anymore wondering if this is done or that is done. I just look at the work, and actually, I can tell you the secret. I don't actually look at the workflows. My staff does. All I do is I look to see if my staff did the shit that's on my, oh, should I not? I shouldn't cuss.
You know that you're all right.
Sorry. I just check to see if everybody has checked off the stuff they're supposed to check off. That's all I do. My bandwidth, this is like really important. My bandwidth is reserved for my clients' emotional needs. It is not for ordering signs. But if I was a solo agent, all I'd have to do is hit order sign, send thing, done, check it off. Don't think about it anymore.
And that's the thing I was going to mention too, is because you can see here, it's like assigned to, so you can assign this to whoever. So you can say like, checking in on the seller, emotionally can be one of your tasks, and that's assigned to Kendyl. And then everything else is assigned to your team that really helps support you and makes you look good. And that way you get to do the things that because I always believe you've got to do the things that you are best at, because that's what's running your business. Right. And then let the other people, the people that are supporting you and your staff, let them do what they're best at. And you hire the best team, right? Because they're awesome at what they do. So then they can do their thing, because their thing is being awesome at ordering things and scheduling and being on top of and nudging you when you need to be nudged, like, hey, there's a problem, nudge, nudge, and then they'll nudge you. But them getting all the stuff done that needs to be taken care of, that's taken care of by somebody else. So you can be free to do the stuff that you love and are passionate about. And that's your clients.
Yeah. I mean, it's important. If you're a solopreneur, you should be thinking forward to the day when you can have an assistant. If you're with a larger company, you probably do have resources that you can assign it to. So just think outside yourself. You said it perfectly, Eleni. You should do the things you're best at, and delegate everything else. As my coach used to say, if you don't have an assistant, you are one.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's something that's really, and especially when you're starting off, you might be doing everything, and you don't want to have those sleepless nights and those night terrors of, did I get everything done? And this is what will keep you organized. But then once you get to the place where you're like, now I can bring in an admin, now I can bring somebody else in, how am I going to train them? That is that is like
right?
an impossible task. That is
Or
really difficult.
I know I need help, but I don't know what they're going to do.
Right. How do I keep them
If you
busy
get
8 hours a day?
list,
Yeah.
right?
You give them this and you say, you're Rachel Green and you're going to do all the things that's assigned to Rachel Green.
Wait.
And
Can I tell the story? So can I tell the story? You asked me in the very beginning, we got totally sidetracked of how did I get started?
Yeah.
I have to tell this story because it's like so important.
Okay.
And why you need Wise Agent. So when I finally finished all my workflows and I wrote them out and all my template letters or whatever, the assistant that I'd had for 3 years, like she went BS crazy on me and she left my business. And thank God she was going to leave anyway, but she went nuts. She was supposed to train my next person. And I had a 2-week training schedule for that person because I have a pretty big business. At that time I was, it's not going to sound very big to some of you, but in California, doing 50 transactions in a year is a lot. You're a legit agent if you're doing that much volume, right? So I had a 2-week training thing. She up and quits and the new gal had only had a half a day of training. Thank God it was on CRM, right? Half a day. First gal goes, new gal goes, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, follow the workflow because I don't have time to train you. And I went off to do my business. That year, I doubled my business, no loss in quality, because the new assistant just followed the workflow. She knew exactly what to do. All the letters were in my voice. We doubled our business,
Nice.
No loss in quality, which I define as freaked out clients.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's the thing is that this will help you go from, I'm doing this all on my own and I need to stay organized to I need to add somebody else, but I don't know what to tell them to do. Because I'm not sure what I do all day long. Because if you don't have it written down and what you do every day, all day long, then that's going to be a challenge for you to get to that next person.
For those of you who are newer agents, don't freak out and feel like this is not for you. If you are a newer agent, this is exactly for you. What you should be doing is adding the things that you're doing, everything that you're learning, adding them into your checklist and your templates. Send an email that you're like, wow, I was so brilliant on that email. Add that to your templates. As you're building this, when you're ready to hire an assistant, you'll have this like this amazing record of what you want the assistant to do. So this is exactly for you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I had to get all boxy on you.
No, but I mean, it goes, and what the way that Wise Agent was built was it was built for Brandon, right? Brandon Wise is our CEO. And so he had built it for himself with Mike, our CTO. And then, slowly it started, taking off, selling it as a CRM. And really it has all those components of being able to go from that one agent, just a solo agent, to adding on to teams and then even brokerages. So we have all of that available for everyone. And so that's one of the great things about Wise Agent. It can really just grow with you because it doesn't have to just be, about that one, just you and what happens after you grow. The other, I wanted to show, because one of the things that we do here that we do so well, and I'm so proud of my team. I mean, I love my support staff. We've got 24/7 support and they do an amazing job. But we also have some great developers here too. And we do a lot of different integrations. And so, it doesn't matter if you're using Zip Forms Plus, if you want to have, your transactions going, because this is just like your checklist of things to do, because then there's the forms, right? There's all those forms that also need to happen. And so we have a great integration with Zip Forms Plus where you can, start, getting your forms in here, and then Sky Slope as well. So if you wanted to have, and this is one of our newer integrations that just was released the other day.
I didn't know about that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Really.
Yeah. And so, so you can write a listing, write an offer, send out for signatures. You can do all sorts of stuff in through that. And then we also have that integration with .loop as well. So there's There's so many things that you can do just within Wise Agent where you don't have to leave your CRM, because this is the place that you're going to be coming in every single day, logging in. That's just not without a question. Every day you turn on your computer, you really need to be, or any of your devices, you need to be logging into your CRM so you can, see what tasks need to be done and where your business is going. One of the things I wanted to show, I wasn't really planning on showing this, so, but I do want to show our homepage, because this is where, when you log in, and you can set this up to really, be viewable as whatever way you want. So if you want to see your commissions up top, you can move these things around. So if you want to see your transaction hot list, you want to see all the transactions that you're working on, you can see it here. And you could even move these around in here and, move them up and down and around and wherever you want them to go. And move this whole entire quadrant up to the top. So then you can see your checklist from here. And then it's completely integrated with our task list. So when you're coming in, or your assistant is coming in to see what tasks need to be completed, they can just change their name and just see whatever it is needs to be done by them for that particular day. And then if it's done, then they check it off and, and keep going. So this is something to really just makes life so much easier for you. It's a CRM that really helps you go to that next level. And doing your, having your checklist and your templates, your templated letters is just that one extra step that I think, Kendyl, that you've taken really to that next
pretty
level.
High level. Yeah.
Very high level. I didn't set up the demo account to have all of your stuff in here, but all of your templates are available. And what you would do, and if you want to create your own, you can totally do that from here as well. And you can do that with our letter creation. So you can create a new letter and just, just start editing right away here. Just start putting in whatever it is that you send. Create the letter name and the group that you want this to be under. And it's really simple, and it gets organized in a way where you'll be able to just see everything. So if you want to see all your lender letters, then here they are. And you can just really just organize those, and you can come in here and edit them if you're like, ooh, someone just pointed out a typo, whatever it is. Right. So that's.
Now, some of you may be feeling a little bit overwhelmed because you were thinking, wow, Wise Agent, that's a great place to categorize my people's names and their phone numbers and email address. And maybe I could connect the wife's contact information to the husband. And you really weren't thinking too much beyond this. And now you're kind of blown away. You're feeling a little bit stressed out, and you're thinking, oh my God, I could never do that. So let me just kind of put it into perspective for you. Even though you might have thought you're just going to be looking at an address book, what you are looking at is an incredible tool that could be the dashboard of your entire business. It is a place where you can not only keep track of your transactions and the things that happen within your transactions, it's also going to help you with marketing and letters and communication. And while that sounds really overwhelming, doesn't it seem like a good idea that you have one place that works together for all those little bits of information rather than pinging off into all kinds of different places and getting really confused? Did I talk to my client over here or over there? Did I have their information over here? And, oh, where's my file folder with my contract information? Having it in one place will make your life so much better. And Wise Agent has put together the most essential components of what you need to run your business in one awesome place. So just saying.
It's one place that you can get everything done, your marketing, your transactions, and the marketing portion of it. I mean, we do have a ton of marketing things, and we've done a lot of webinars talking about all the marketing things that we do, like postcards and drip campaigns and everything else, because that can be integrated within this. I mean, I personally think that after a transaction, after you complete a transaction with somebody, add them to a drip campaign so they don't forget about you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, is that something that a lot of realtors don't do, because I think that the statistics from National Association of Realtors is that 82% of home buyers don't use the realtor that they used on the first house. They don't use it on their second purchase. So that's a huge amount of people that don't use the same realtor twice. So don't be that person. You can set it up where your last step in the whole entire checklist process is now start them on a drip campaign of, don't forget about me, whatever you're going to call that drip campaign, right? I know there's a ton of questions. I wanted to go over a couple of them. So one question is, I showed the integrations, and one question was, are you integrating with Form Simplicity? And that's a great question. So I have talked to the people, over at Form Simplicity, and I'm still waiting on an API from them. Once we get that, then we'll be able to do that and add that to our deck of different integrations for you guys too. Another question is, can this be used to send Christmas notes to? Absolutely. So yes, you can have a whole entire drip campaign of, where you want, whatever you want. You can set up your campaign for different holidays throughout the year. I think that's always a good one. Just doing like a 12-month or 12-touch marketing campaign. January, you say Happy New Year. February, Happy Valentine's Day. Go down the list.
Can I blow your mind on this one? Just as sharing the ideas of how to make more raving fan clients for everybody. Okay. You guys know about this, but not very many of you do it. You should be communicating with your people, not just your clients, your people on their house anniversary date. Now, here's the part that's going to blow your mind. So you can put this into Wise Agent, put it in house anniversary date, and send a note or call them or what have you. Please, for the love of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, do not send some generic mass email pre-printed card. Make it personal. It's their house anniversary. It's an important day. Okay. But you can also send house anniversary notes to people that you didn't sell a house to. So you've got a parent on your kid's soccer team. You really like this person. You can look it up in the tax records. What's their house anniversary date? If you send them a handwritten card saying happy house anniversary, can you believe you've been in your home for 19 years? Bet you never remembered. It feels like you've never lived anywhere else. Okay. You send that to that person. They will think of you as their real estate agent, even though you never sold them a house. They'll feel all warm and fuzzy. It's going to be awesome. If it is your client, say, God, do you remember that horrible blue house with the stinky carpet? They will feel warm and fuzzy, that you're the real estate agent. This is an amazing idea. Put it in Wise Agent. And when your task list shows up in the morning, it's going to have this list. Send house anniversary cards to these 3 people, or call them, or text them, or whatever. Anyway.
Exactly. That's awesome. Yeah, you can totally do that. You have the space for it for every single one. So if you've got even an investor that, has rental properties, and they've got, 5, 6, 7 properties, or 2 or 3 of them, or whatever it is, you put all of those anniversary dates and say, hey, you can even, if you're using it for like property management, you can even say like, the lease is coming up for this person, and you can, you'll have those reminders to send, hey, do you want to renew your lease, or whatever it is. So you get
Not
the
to
idea.
mention asking the tenants, so are you going to renew the lease, or would you like to buy a house?
Right.
I got to tell you, the house anniversary, lease anniversaries, because I do have that as well.
Yeah.
House anniversary and lease anniversary has been one of the most important things in my business in the last 2 years.
Really? So how have you been leveraging that? Just sending them. Is it more sending emails? Is it phone calls? What is it that you're leveraging more
It's a
of?
combination of phone calls and handwritten notes. I'm not particularly great with chitty chatty, but house anniversary phone calls are a pretty easy one to do. Yeah. But it's been a game changer, because it is an unusual thing to be contacted about. It doesn't feel trite. It doesn't feel salesy. It feels celebratory, and it is obviously about real estate. So it's become like my perfect way to contact someone and I never ask for referrals. I'm sorry. I'm just not one of those I heart referral people. It makes me throw up a little bit in my mouth. So I don't do that. It's house anniversary. It's just like, I don't have to do that. Like, obviously I'm a real estate agent. That's why I know it's your house anniversary.
Right,
I know
right.
it's just really perfect. But I love handwritten notes because people feel so special when they get a handwritten, hand addressed card. I always make sure to say something that's really uniquely personal, so that they know it wasn't. And then I'm a big fan of BombBomb emails. And you guys have, yeah.
We
Um,
integrate with BombBomb.
yeah, we integrate with BombBomb. So it's so easy to send an email. And if you have a BombBomb account, to just record a quick little, hey, you guys, today is your house anniversary. I bet you don't even remember where you lived before that. Oh my God, can you remember that house with the weird cat that stared at us and creeped us out? Yeah. Well, hopefully you don't need to be shopping for a house anytime soon, but if you are, of course, like, I'm around. But I just wanted to say happy house anniversary. I hope you're doing
Yeah.
well. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah,
That's like a 30-second video,
that is. And
right?
that's a great one. And then as I was going through this list to find BombBomb, you could even send a CMA out to them, because on their, the anniversary of their home sale, because then that's nice. Like, so you've been living in this house for 19 years. This
Bet
is
you're
what you bought
curious.
it at. And here's where you're at now.
Right.
Yeah.
And not, if you're thinking of selling, here's what your house is worth. You don't need to do that. Just say, by the way, I bet you're curious what's going on in the neighborhood. Send that.
Yeah.
If they're thinking about selling, trust me, they will call you. You did not need to say that thing. You did not need to stink of commission breath. Just be of service.
Yeah.
Just be of service. Be in the flow of their life. Just be awesome and let Wise Agent help you do that.
Yeah. And so, and this is so, because I started sharing my screen kind of in the middle of Kendyl talking. This is what our contact summary page looks like. So this is Michael Phelps, and and you can have their spouse here, and you can have extra details about them. So when the phone is coming up, you see, the spouse's name. If the spouse is calling, you'll see her name, or if he's calling, you'll see information about them. And you can have all your notes in here. It's so important when you're building these relationships that you add all your notes, and doing that is so important. And then you can have, here's where all their checklists are, right? You can see any checklist that I created. I'll just can create a checklist right now and just say, yeah, start from, and here's from my template here. I can assign it to my team member. I can put in the property. If I already have that property, let me use a different one. And then I just can name this and then create it. It's that quick and easy. So
Now,
once
some
I
of you
come,
are feeling anxious right now. And you're like, oh my God, I can't do that. I just have to. I'm sorry, Eleni, I cut you off, but I have to brag about the Wise Agent team again. Sorry, but I personally experienced this. You're feeling a little like heart palpitations. You're thinking, oh my God, I can't do all of that. I'll never remember these things that Eleni just showed. Guess what? You don't have to. I have never, ever worked with a support team as amazing as the Wise Age support. They said 24/7. They freaking mean it, and it is not somebody who doesn't speak English in on Mars. These are amazing, dedicated Wise Agent professionals who are endlessly patient. Oh my God, so patient, so kind, so like amazing. So just like chill. It's okay. They have your back. They're amazing.
yeah, there are. Thanks, Kendyl, for that. They do. I love our support staff. They are fantastic. And we are 24/7. So if you have problems with anything, if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to create a landing page. I've got an open house in an hour that's starting, and I didn't create my landing page for it, and I'm not sure how to do it. You can contact, and it's Saturday morning. You can contact our support staff, and we'll walk you through doing it.
I've called them on a Sunday morning before coffee and they answered. Amazing.
Yeah.
Might have been in tears too. So I'm saying amazing.
Yeah. We and I'm just seeing a couple of questions right now. So how do you import contacts? How do I get started? We have a whole getting started team that will help you get started. So you could either import your contacts by yourself, or you can send the CSV file to us and we'll import it for you. Or if you have everything in Google, if you have everything in your Gmail account, you could click, I think it's 2 buttons, maybe it's 3, and it'll just all sync for you automatically, and you don't have to do anything. That's my favorite part, is when I have to do the least amount of work for something that's time consuming, right? That's the thing. So I wanted, what was I going to share? I wanted to share, so I shared how easy it is to get all of your, so going from having a conversation and saying, hey, yes, I'm happy to put in this offer for this property of yours, and then you can come in here and say, okay, well, what's going to be the closing date? We can pick the closing date. You can do all these other things. And then once you pick everything in here, I'm gonna have to do all these things. You can see as soon as I'm starting things here, it automatically fills in the due date, because what I've done in my template, I've said this agency disclosure is due 2 days before the inspection date. So as soon as I select this date, it will just figure out, it'll just calculate for me what that due date is. So I don't have to go and do math. That reverse math is, especially when it comes to time and date, is the most difficult thing to understand to do. And so then I can come in here and just check things off as I do them. So then nothing gets done twice. If you're like, did my admin do this? My transaction coordinator do this or not? I don't know, because there isn't a note left behind, but guess what? If it's checked off, it's been done. So you can be, worry free about that, because that's something that, can happen. And then of course, uploading all of your documents. So you can click here to upload or drag and drop documents in here to keep and store, and then as well as your transactions. So it's something that's just fully integrated with everything. So from the commission report, and our commission report is attached to our goals and our, and it just our goal trackers. So everything is integrated with one another. And at the center of everything is your contacts, right? So at the center of everything would be, a particular person.
So here's what happens when you have everything that Eleni is talking about. Your commission is set, your checklist with all of your trigger dates are set, it's all calendared. If you have staff that you can delegate to, you can keep track of who's doing what. Here's what the end result is. As Brene Brown says, what's paint done for me? So here's paint done. Some of you are just brand new agents. Some of you have been in this a while. And you know that the transactional stuff, the pro forma stuff, the nuts and bolts that needs to get done. But what creates referrals? What creates your reputation for having delivered fabled real estate service is how your client feels, right? So in the before times, before you had Wise Agent, you're just running around and you're just trying to get everything done and you're cycling like a squirrel, like nonstop. You don't have time to think about the flourishes that will really make your client feel amazing. But once you've got it done, you're going to start adding things. So it's like, again, in the workflows and checklists that I have available through Wise Agent, there are flourishes that you might not have had a chance to do. Like, for example, we have a whole thing that we do around the home inspection that is designed to not only make your client feel amazing. We have this little inspection kit, and it's all in the workflow that you can give to your client. But we also recommend things like bringing a little orchid with you. If you represent the buyer, bring a little orchid to the home inspection as a gift to the seller, saying, thank you so much for letting me, inspect the property. The seller feels amazing about you. Are they going to feel a little bit more inclined to accept your inspection request if they feel really good about you? Now, when you're just completely full up with trying to chase after the lender to get your doggone loan documents on time, you don't have time to think about that. But when you've got everything in one place as it is in Wise Agent, you can think of these flourishes, use mine or just add your own. Either way is fine. Yeah. But this is how you do fabled experience. And this is how you get referrals.
Yeah, that's a great way of explaining it, because that is something that's, a lot of people talk about all the time. How do I get referrals? How do I get referrals? It's building that relationship and being that person that's serving your clients, and making sure that you're following through with that, and having a system in place like Wise Agent to help you stay on top of it. Because there's no way, if you're doing 50 transactions a year, even if you're doing 25 transactions a year, you can't remember, because that's like, even if it's just one person on that side, but you're talking to multiple people per transaction, right?
Sure.
Then then that just grows exponentially over the years, and then you can be lost doing it on a spreadsheet. And Camilla and I were on a webinar last week talking about, how a spreadsheet cannot take the place of a CRM. It's just not doable that way. So a couple of questions are coming in. If we could use Wise Agent to print out address labels so you can send out those handwritten notes. Of course, you totally can do that. A lot of questions coming in, Kendyl, wanting to know how to get your transaction model. They want to know, how do we get all of your transactions? We'll talk about that in a minute too. And then a question on, how do I get the support and how do I get the training for Wise Agent? So let me go through that, because one thing here that we understand, and if this is the first time that you guys have been on one of my webinars, thanks for joining, of course. But then also just a little bit about my background is in technology. And so one thing that I understand here, and we understand here, is that we all know software and we understand technology. And we understand that, as agents, you might not. And so we're, totally comfortable giving you the information on how to use Wise Agent, however you learn best, right? Kind of going back to what we were saying earlier, just do what, works best for you. So we have, our support is, 24/7 by email. You can call us and we'll call you back if that's what you want. But we also have videos, so you can talk to us on the phone. You can watch a quick 5-minute video on how to use our contact filters, or how to use our call list or commission or whatever. And then you can also just contact us here saying, fill this form out, and then say, like, call me ASAP, put in your message, or here's our phone number is listed for you. We also have a chat here, so you can do that as well. And then we also have our knowledge base for you to just type in, like, how do I get my leads from, Zillow in here, from Realtor.com, or from Facebook? How do I get my Facebook integrated here? We'll walk you, this will walk you through doing all of that. So that's something. And then we also have online classes. So you can just log in here and register for an online class. And we even have these are, hour-long classes that are just dedicated to that one thing, to just like letters and drip campaigns or transactions or whatever it is, right? There's like a whole overview for you to understand everything that Wise Agent does, because there's a lot, and that one takes about an hour to do. And that's not training. So our demos and overviews are not training. They're just like this today is not training. I don't do the training. I'm a fast talker. I've been told by several dozen people. And so I'm not a trainer. But yeah, so we offer all of that as help and support for you. And then what was the other thing we were going to talk about is, we were going to talk about how do we get Kendyl's transactions. So let me set up my screen for that page, because we have to, I have to set that site up. But this is how you would do it. So you would just go to wiseagent.com/ I just had it up here, KYC. And I'm going to post this in the Zoom, and you'll get, so if you sign up for a Wise Agent from there, you'll be able to get your Kendyl's, all of her, what is the word I'm looking for? All her templates and the workflows.
Templates, yeah, exactly.
What's the word that we've been saying for the last hour, Kendyl?
I use the word workflows because it kind of encompasses everything. It's not just one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll post that in the chat as well for you all to see it. And that'll be also, and I believe also from your website, you'll be able to purchase them there. So once you purchase them from there, they'll be available in your account.
Right. And we'll drop that. If Camille, if you could drop that into the chat, it's kendylyyoung.com, really imaginative there. But one of the things that's that I'm really proud of is that I've coded in the experience, my 35 years of experience into these workflows. I've carefully thought about how I want to communicate not only with my own clients, but with the various partners in a transaction like the lender, escrow and title people, home inspectors, how I want to communicate with them so that the end result is my client always feels like I've anticipated what they were going to ask me next, but I give it to them before they think to ask. Prediction equals trust. So the more they get the feeling that I've predicted what's going to happen or how they're feeling or where they're going, the more they trust me. The more they trust me, the more they are going to give me a 5-star review, of which I have hundreds. Um, or the more likely they are going to bring up my name, not just, hey, Kendyl, who sold your house? That's a gimme. But they're in a cocktail party and they're just like saying, yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to have to sell our house. For that person to say, you've got to call Kendyl. She's the most amazing real estate agent I've ever. She knew what I was thinking before I even thought it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You can do that with my workflows, even if you're a brand new agent.
That's awesome, because that is one of the things in the workflows that will explain, like, so I'm a first time home buyer. I don't know all the steps of what I'm going to be about to go through, right? And I'm going to go through some stuff, right? And
you're I have a roadmap that the buyer goes through, the buyer's journey, and that goes with week 1 letter to the buyer that says, okay, you've got your offer accepted. You're probably feeling pretty amazing and maybe a little overwhelmed. Here's what you're faced with. Here's what you need to do next. Here's what's coming up. And I lay it out for the buyer, and they get that letter week 1. It's pre-written. I wrote it once, and that goes out to every single buyer that I have. Yeah. But the response is almost always, oh, wow, I was going to ask you how you got paid. Now I understand. I was going to ask, about the home inspectors, and you already show up. And it's just, I've done this 2,000 times.
Yeah, it's helpful. It's helpful because you always want to put yourself in the other person's shoes, because that's how you show empathy. That's how you show respect a lot of times too, because you want to be respectful of their questions, not be like, I've done this 2,000 times. Don't you know? And it's like, no, they don't, because they're a first time home buyer. Maybe this is their second or third, time buying a house or first time selling a house, whatever it is. They don't know what it's like, and you're the expert.
Response, and here's the response. Your client goes, ah, yeah. I'm not afraid as well. They're still afraid, but not as afraid. Yeah. And I'm one of those real estate agents where my phone just doesn't ring that often. I used to think it was because I wasn't very important. And now I realize it's because I'm just really good at getting it to them before they think to ask. So they don't have to call me. So they don't, which is nice.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And that's, and so a couple of people are asking, what is the format for, for all of these things that we're doing? So these are all letters that you can email them out through Wise Agent. I don't know if I wasn't clear on that earlier. When you set everything up, let me go back to sharing my screen here. Wrong screen. Hold on. Sorry. So when you go into, to send a letter out from the workflows, and this could be, through Kendyl's workflows, or if you want to create your own, you Absolutely. Don't have, you can totally create your own. These are things that it's all doable from within Wise Agent. Mm-hmm. Is you go in here and you can have this letter list from in here. And then when you're in your checklist, let me find, am I in a checklist at all? I'm not in a checklist.
You were.
When you are in your checklist, you just, whoever you want to send this out to. So it could be to the client, or it could be to one of the important contacts that's in your checklist here. You can do that as well. I think I doodled by it here too quickly. This is the other thing that I know a lot of people love, is that if you want to show off like what you're doing to sell somebody's property, and I know right now we're all kind of, a lot of markets are like, you don't need to do much to sell a property right now. It's sold before you even put it, before you press enter in the MLS, it's already sold. I get that, but it's, it might not always be that way. What you can do is you have an option to email or print the summary to kind of show like, hey, so this is the marketing that I've done. And you can have it where if you have everything kind of, so I don't want to show them all the critical dates, and I don't want to show them all these important contacts. They don't need to see that. I don't even need them to see everything I'm doing for the listing. I just want to show them the marketing thing. And so they don't need to see all this other stuff. So I can just show them whatever I want them to see. So then when I, once I prepare this, now I can send it as an email or print it out to them. If I'm going to their, their house, I could print this out or email it to them saying, hey, this is all of the marketing that I've been doing. I just want you to know I held an open house. I had 250 people come through, and this is the feedback I've gotten, and here it is. And it's in a nice email. It's in a nice checklist for them to be able to see. And it just proves then that how organized and how well prepared you are. And that just builds trust and, I mean, a good reputation for yourself, right?
Right?
Right,
I mean,
Kendall?
back in the old days when it was possible for our listing to expire, this kind of stuff is how you get a renewal and extension on your listing like that. No problem.
Yeah, I love this. I love the print summary page because it's something that can be, it could save a transaction. If they're, if your seller is wondering what in the heck you're doing, that's you easily shown, easily shown.
We've been in such an intense market. We have forgotten how important thinking strategically and ahead can be, right? And we're scrambling like crazy. And that's working right now, but it will not work the minute the market slows down. And you're going to be scrambling, going, well, how come my phone's not ringing? Well, you're going to need something like Wise Agent to have put in the trust and put in the reputation so that people will take your phone call when things start to slow down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, because it would be nice if things kind of kept this way for a little bit, but I don't know, is that realistic? You want to be prepared for both sides of the coin, right?
And how many of you are thinking, I don't know if I'll survive if it stays this intense. I can't work any harder.
Right? You're like, I need a break. I need a break.
And you need Wise Agent right now for that.
You do. This is the time to, like, if you stay organized and you stay on top of things, because you can use the system, you can use Wise Agent or your CRM to go through and say, okay, I have these buyers, but I don't have any sellers right now. How am I going to find this? Go through and look how many people have been in their house for 19 years. And maybe it's, graduation this is my son's, it's not called graduation when you graduate from 8th grade or from junior high. It's called a promotion now. I didn't know when I graduated 8th grade, it was graduation, but I guess in today's world, it's a promotion. So he's being promoted today to high school tonight. And so I'm super excited for him. But there's high school graduations, college graduations. People are leaving their family's home, their parents' house. People are becoming empty nesters. This is a great way, like, oh, they've lived in their home 19 years. And I remember when I sold it to them, they had just had a newborn baby. So maybe they've got an empty nest coming up and they want to downsize from this 4-bedroom house to a condo or something. They want to sell maybe. This is an opportunity for you to be able to reach out to them and, and hopefully you're not just reaching out to them for selling, but you're saying congratulations on the graduation and building that relationship. And hopefully you've built the relationship and, throughout the years. That's the key of this, right? You do have to build that relationship, and that there's automation for that, but you also have to do the work too, right, Kendall?
Right now, some of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to do all of this, but I'm so busy right now. We're at the height of the home selling season. I have no time for any of this. And you're probably right, but it's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. So this is a decision. Are you going to invest in your business so that it will get better? or are you just going to stay crazy and never have a life for yourself? Your choice.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a great way of putting it. And so I know we are up on time, Kendyl. Thank you so much. I love talking with you. I know it was so much fun. I know we can talk for hours and hours, and we'll catch up. I miss seeing you. I know I haven't traveled in over a year, and hopefully to see you soon. And I know for all of those that joined us with Florida Association of Realtors, I will be in Florida. When is it? August something or other. I will be there in person. I'm so excited to be traveling again, and I think Florida is my first stop. So I'm so excited for that. If you guys want to try out Wise Agent, if you don't have a CRM, I would obviously highly recommend this, and on Kendyl's recommendation too. You could try it out free for 14 days. You'll get an onboarding session where we'll walk you through getting all your contacts in, getting your leads coming in. We'll also help you get everything set up in your profile and also in your email branding, so you can start sending out these emails. And if you want to get Kendyl's workflows, we'll help you get that as well, get those integrated in. And so if you just go to wiseagent.com/FAR, you'll be able to get that promotion through Florida Association of Realtors. Or if you just go to wiseagent.com, get all that information. And yeah, I will see you guys all next week, June 2nd. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, that's a Wednesday. I'm going to be joined by G from Ylopo, and we're going to be talking about marketing and Facebook marketing. So that's a newer integration that we have too with Ylopo. Thank you so much, Kendyl, though. I appreciate your time and all of the tips that you've given out to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For those of you who want to go to my website, kendylyoung.com, I'm not quite finished with getting everything in there, but you can certainly find out more about what I've created, and I look forward to answering questions.
Yeah. And you guys can connect with Kendyl through Wise Agent's Facebook community. So we'll be, Kendyl is in the community there. And if you want to post in there and tag her in there, I'm sure she'll be happy to reach out as well. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Talk to you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, Kendyl. Thank you. Bye.